Right, hello people. Been a very busy night for me, as you know. It is 7 o'clock in the morning. I am losing my voice very slowly. Some of you would have seen that in the stream, but I'm very happy because Terrence Crawford cements his legacy defining win against Canelo Alvarez over a 12 round, I believe, unanimous decision. Judges got it pretty much spot on. I gave Canelo 3 to 4 rounds in this fight, and I know I technically got my pick wrong, but it isn't one of them because obviously Crawford is my favorite fighter ever. So it's not one of them where it kind of hurts because I got my prediction wrong. Um, it's like one where also because I didn't write Crawford off like many people did. I said it was a 50-50. I said he'd put in a good effort, but just kind of be bested. But he's clearly a very special man athletically, and his body's capable of fucking tremendous things, even at 37. Um, this prediction's gonna be not prediction. This reaction's gonna be very hard to make because my voice is in agony. Um, it's really hurting to talk. I've been talking non-stop, right? Obviously the live stream went on longer than I thought it would because there was more of a delay. Um, and I did my reaction video to Paddy Donovan Lewis Crocker early in the night, which feels like a million years ago now, but we're gonna get into this. I thought Crawford won, like I said, 4 rounds I gave to Canelo. Um, so eighth, yeah. So yeah, no, it was just this fight really, really surprised me because it started off kind of how I thought. The first round was cagey. Um, Crawford started to grow into it. But then around the fifth round, which is where I kind of said Crawford's going to start to slow around the fifth, sixth round. Then Canelo's going to start to get to his body, and then Canelo's going to start to break him down because his legs will fail him because Crawford's not used to being at the weight, right? But around the fifth round, Crawford started feeling himself. He started getting confident, and you could see that in the way he was moving and what he was doing. And another thing in the fight was Canelo could not find Crawford's head. Crawford would either be out of range because his movement was phenomenal. He didn't look any slower than he's looked in the past. Like he looked as quick as ever. Um, so he'd be out of the range of Canelo's shots. And the reason he was able to see them shots coming was because I think we've found out, we think this has been a known thing against the likes of Lara and even Billy Joe Saunders, who Canelo did beat emphatically, but did have some moments in there where he struggled. I think Canelo really struggles against southpaws. I think he struggles to close the distance against him. We saw that in this fight. There was a very. I'd like to see the CompuBox numbers. There was a very limited amount of jabs. My voice. There was a very limited amount of jabs from Canelo in this fight, and it was probably Crawford's biggest weapon. But that's besides the point of what I'm saying. Kind of. Um, there's a very limited number of jabs from Canelo, and he really struggled to close that distance. So he'd kind of load up with the right hands, and obviously the speed advantage is well and truly in Crawford's favour. He'd load up with these right hands and kind of throw them. Whereas with Canelo, usually if you see him in there against an orthodox opponent, he he's one of the best. He loads up, but he's one of the best at kind of setting up those loaded up shots. Um, he very rarely throws just blindly like that. Um, he was doing that in his fight. He was kind of loading up with the right hand, and obviously, because against a southpaw, you really should lead with your right hand. I think a jab can be a very good weapon against a southpaw, but it's more of a weapon for a guy like Usyk, who is a master southpaw, or like Lomachenko, who knows kind of how to the lead hand battle with a guy like Usyk is just tremendous, right? So it's more of a weapon for a southpaw. But I would have liked to have seen a bit more finesse from Canelo. For a fighter who is as elite as he's been, and he's been a pound for pound star for 10 years at least, I would have expected to see more finesse than him just kind of blindly loading up with right hands trying to close the distance. Because there was moments in this fight where he was backing Crawford up to the ropes. He'd load up blindly for a right hand. Crawford would take one step back because that's all he really could do was take one step back because his back was pretty much against the ropes. And he'd blast him with a right hand and it would snap the head back of Canelo. Not a tremendous amount, but it would snap the head back nonetheless and definitely be visible. Um, yeah. And other than that, Crawford would just kind of defend it of his guard. I did expect Canelo to kind of hit the arms in this fight, but he never really resorted to that tactic. And whenever he was hitting Crawford, it would be it would be on the hands, and that's not that hurts, but obviously that's what you're meant to block shots with, and your hands are going to hurt anyway after a boxing match in 8-ounce gloves because it's 8-ounce gloves. It's not the most amount of padding and protection in the world, and you're hitting someone in the head. Um, I really expected him to resort to that tactic, especially because Crawford's guard was so good in this fight. And he really like I implore someone to list a time in the fight where Canelo landed a significant headshot because he really didn't. He was very consistent with his work to the body. Um, I feel like the straight right hand was definitely the cleaner shot from Canelo to the body in this fight. The left hook was decent, but it was more kind of hitting the kind of hip area than the liver. It wasn't even the most accurate shot, but it was a scoring shot. The right hook was okay, but it kind of clipped the elbow. It would land, but it kind of clipped the elbow beforehand, kind of taking the sting out of it. But yeah, Crawford's got too good vision to kind of just throw right hand blindly like Canelo was doing. And even if Canelo did kind of get in range and flurry, he'd smother his work immediately after, and none of it was particularly clear. Where I just felt like the work Crawford was doing was the clearer work. He was working very well behind the jab. I liked the volume of the jab. That's what you got to do against Canelo. That's what Bivol did. Um, like I said in my prediction video, Canelo does tend to bring that back foot forward first to kind of disguise the movement. And if you've got enough power to get his respect, you can set him off balance, and that definitely happened a few times in this fight. Um, but yeah, masterful performance from Crawford. He got better. He got better as the fight went on. Round 11, there was visual signs of frustration in there from Canelo. Uh, yeah, visual signs of frustration in there. Um, because he couldn't land on Crawford really. And I did see, I think it was Ray Jackson on Twitter. Um, he was joking because that's what he's like. He's a Crawford hater, and because he's a Spence fan. But he was saying Crawford was running. But I will address that just in case anyone thinks it's for real. It wasn't. That was boxing and moving. That was boxing and moving. He was hitting Canelo with counters. Do you know what I mean? Because Canelo was loading up, not blinding Crawford. Made it too predictable. Wasn't setting anything up because he's obviously not very good against southpaws, and Crawford was able to see it, and he was able to get his respect. Crawford was able to back him up in moments. His ring generalship and positioning was, quite frankly, sublime. Um, I'd say he took more from Bivol in this fight with the kind of volume with the jab and the way in which he was able to get Canelo to back up. He definitely took more from Bivol. Um, I liked the discipline from Crawford whenever he did get Canelo onto the ropes. He didn't take any liberties, which I didn't expect him to do because he is one of the most intelligent fighters I've ever seen. And this kind of reaffirms to me that Canelo struggles with intelligent fighters. You know, Floyd, Bivol, Crawford, they're three very, very intelligent fighters. And Canelo's lost clearly to all of them, in my opinion. Um, uh, yeah, just tremendous from Terrence Crawford. It really was. He even traded in moments, and he didn't have problems trading because he wasn't getting hit to the head. Right? We didn't. Maybe people were right. Maybe if Canelo did hit Crawford to the head, it would hurt. I always thought Canelo would have a hard time hitting Crawford to the head. That's why I mentioned in my prediction video that the body will be the route to success for Canelo here. Um, I really did want to flip flop this week and pick Crawford. I don't know if I said that in my prediction video, but that was definitely a thought in my mind. But I don't do that anymore. It's convenient the fact that I've stopped flip flopping that now the fighters that I want to flip flop to are winning. Um, but I'm just happy because I didn't write Crawford off and say he was going to get blown away like some fucking idiots did. Um, the ginger spack was never going to blow him away. He's too great of a fighter to get blown away. In that fight. It's not so big of a weight jump that a fighter as great as Crawford gets blown away. Come on, it's just not going to happen. Canelo hasn't blown away anyone. The only person he's blown away in the last 7 fucking years, it was like Rocky Fielding. Like Caleb Plant, last guy he knocked out, had success. Billy Joe Saunders had success. That's not blowing someone away. Last guy he blew away in like 2 rounds was Rocky Fielding. Rocky Fielding was okay, especially compared to Terrence Crawford, man. Um, I don't know what's next for Crawford. I want to see him retire 42-0, 3 division undisputed champion, 5 division world champion, one of the greatest of all time. He's got 2 really good wins on his resume, a pretty decent resume overall, but he's got the wins against Spence, which was questionable, um, because of, you know, the I don't want to say form of him because I think Spence's form was actually quite good. I think he performed good against Ugas, but um, his prime was definitely questioned, right? Canelo's prime was questioned, but Canelo was an undisputed champion, and in this fight, from an athletic standpoint, I think he looked very sharp. From a technical standpoint, thought he looked very, very poor. Like I said, smothering his work, loading up on right hands and throwing them blindly. Um, but from an athletic standpoint, he looked fine. And athletically, that is what your prime is based upon, right? And if you like, so Canelo's not that far past it. And we haven't actually seen Spence fight since that Crawford fight, so Spence could still be in good nick. We saw a picture of him the other day. He looked in good shape. Um, but yeah, man, like I thought that was a beautiful performance in Terrence Crawford. I think the judges got it spot on. I'm very happy they did. That would have been heartbreaking if they got that wrong. Um, but yeah, no, I've never seen a fighter like Canelo get that visually, like that I've seen him get frustrated. I called it in like round 7 or whatever round it was where he kind of got Crawford on the ropes and kind of picked him up and nearly didn't didn't nearly throw him over the ropes, but it kind of picked him up over the ropes. Um, I was like, oh, he's getting frustrated. That's what he did against Bivol in like the 11th round when he got frustrated against Bivol. He lifted him up, didn't he? But in round 11, he was literally visually, he was like huffing and like flopping his arms down, thinking, I've never seen that from an elite fighter. Not at Canelo's level, like not a fighter of pound for pound legend status. But yeah, I think this cements Terrence Crawford truly. This is a legacy defining win. Legacy defining. Um, he's got the accomplishments, he's got the wins. Retire now. Retire now before you get beat. Please. You look great, but just retire. Because man, you like there was a time where I was picking Crawford to win this. Then I swapped back to Canelo, then I didn't know. And then when the fight was announced, I've been Canelo the entire way. I nearly flip flopped. But like I said, I'm very happy I didn't. Um, I didn't write off Crawford. I didn't say he was going to get blown away. So there's no shame in me for this. My favourite fighter won. My favourite fighter has proven himself to be one of the greatest of all time. My favourite fighter is a 3 division undisputed world champion. My favourite fighter is a 5 division world champion. My favourite fighters beat Canelo. And this is kind of retribution for me because I've been calling for Canelo to fight David Benavidez for years. And I feel like since the Bivol fight, he hasn't taken the real challenges and now he's lost. So it kind of feels retributional to me because um, obviously Canelo at one point was one of my favorite fighters, but Crawford is my favorite ever. Um, Stats up now: 165 landed from Crawford, 132 landed from Canelo. Punch accuracy was actually to Canelo 38% to 37% Crawford. Power accuracy was 56% from Crawford and like 49% from Canelo. So it's a clear Crawford win for me. Um, I'm sorry if this reaction video was a bit weird. My voice is going, so I'm like trying to rush through points. So if it's a bit scattered, I'm sorry. But I think I got the point across. Uh, I'm gonna go edit this, and I've got another video to edit. Oh, it should be out tomorrow. This should be out in like the next 30 minutes. Literally the Netflix stream's still going on. They've got like Antonio Tava on the screen, and my voice is proper going. So see you guys in a bit.